The First Amendment is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
The 5 freedoms are known as religion, assemble, press, petition, and speech.
Maddie and I have interviewed multiple people from Kingsway Regional High School, students and teachers, about the First Amendment and how it is related to them in the world today.
Here's what they said.
The First Amendment is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and basically freedom to do anything you like as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
I think of freedom of speech.
That's all I can think about is it's about freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of religion.
Say what you want.
It applies in the factor that I'm allowed to say what I want to say, mostly where I want to say it. I mean, there's obviously some things that I shouldn't say and I won't say, but if I'm in Kingsway and I want to be allowed to say what I want, even if it's against Kingsway or anything like that, I'm allowed to say that. So to me, that would feel like freedom of speech.
Speech to me, it means I can tell somebody I'm gonna slap them in their face, and as long as I don't slap them in their face, it's all good.
We wouldn't be able to go to church or do practice any religion.
We'll be able to say what we want.
We wouldn't be free.
I'm allowed to speak on any topic that I want to and have my own opinion, and nobody can stop me. The government cannot stop me from doing that.
What does freedom of speech mean to you?
That I can kind of say whatever I want to say, with a little bit of common sense. Not to because freedom of speech is you can say anything you want, just not anything extra, anything that will spark a fight.
Can you give me examples of when you used your freedom of speech or where you felt like it has been taken away? Something where it involves your personal life.
If I'm in a political argument with someone, then freedom of speech is used, and we can each say our views and not worry about each other's reactions or something. So that's the main example of when freedom of speech I feel is at its high. I don't know.
And do you think we have freedom of speech, or do you think the freedom of speech in our school is limited, or it's the same if we go from school to our homes?
Yeah, I don't think it's limited really in schools. I mean, there's it's just common decency. I don't know, in schools. So I don't really feel like it's limited.
What is the freedom of petition, and how is it involved in your life?
It is a way to go against something that you think is wrong or that you could have a different opinion on, and it's not really involved in my life because there's not many things that I disagree with or have to fight against. But
Have you ever seen the freedom of petition be expressed in school or sometime somewhere else?
yeah, my friend goes to, I forget what school, but they're not having a homecoming, so they're all getting a petition to have a homecoming, and they're getting all the students to sign it.
And do you feel like the freedom of petition is important to have? If we didn't have a freedom of petition, do you think you would see a big difference in the way the world is set up today?
Yes, I think it's important to have because it gives people a way to express their feelings, and if there's something that feels wrong and they want to go against, they can.
So you think it's important?
Yes.
So what do you think freedom of religion is, and how could you personally connect it to your life?
I believe freedom of religion is the freedom to practice any religion that you want, and to have those freedoms means that no one can really shame you for them or take those away.
And do you feel like we have freedom of religion in our school?
I feel like we do have freedom of religion in our school, but the expression part of it is limited. You're not allowed to wear shirts that say anything with that on it, or you're not allowed to say anything that would offend others, but there are certain clubs and things where you can express that and kind of be open in your faith.
And then overall, do you feel like there is, we have a big freedom of religion compared to other places around the world?
Yes, absolutely. I think in other countries, a lot of freedom of religion is very limited. If you come out and say that you're this religion, you could get thrown in jail or even killed for your faith.
And do you find yourself using your freedom of religion on a regular basis?
Yeah, I would say for sure. I think that it's definitely a privilege that we have the opportunity to share what we believe in our country, and yeah, so definitely it's good to use them.
What is the freedom of assembly, and how does it have any importance in your personal life?
The freedom of assembly to me is just like being able to socialize with other people my age, and it's important to me because I feel like I need that just to meet new people, just to have those kind of interactions.
And do you feel like we have the freedom to assemble within our school, and do you have any examples?
I think we do. During lunch, that's definitely an example. We also have like sporting events and other stuff like gym. I think gym going back was definitely part of that.
And do you feel like if we didn't have the right to freedom of assembly, what would make a big difference in our lives?
Just because of last year where we didn't really have as much, I think that definitely like impacted like social skills and stuff like that.
And can you go more into depth about last year with COVID and all that?
Last year I think it was just weird with virtual learning and not really like the masks were more like stricter and social distancing, and that was
And even going back even further to when we were first quarantined, do you feel like we lost our freedom of assembly, or was it the right thing to say we weren't allowed to see people or gather?
To an extent, I think that we did lose it, but on the other hand, it was also the best thing for all of us to stay safe and healthy, so it kind of balances out.
What is the freedom of press, and how do you feel like it relates to you personally?
I really don't think it relates to me personally unless I see it like on Snapchat or something like that, like if it's about something that's like actually like significant to me, but half the time I feel like it's just old people that watch stuff like that, like not really anything else. So
what is freedom of press? Like specifically, like examples, what it is?
I guess just like the news, like on TV, and just like because I know that there's like biased like Fox News and like ABC are like different, have different opinions, and they kind of like say things differently depending on like what event happened. They would say it like in a different viewpoint. I guess that's how I see that. What?
Do you feel like people know like the freedom of press is like a thing?
Oh.
Or is it just something we expect? Or do we not really see it throughout our lives?
I don't know. I feel like people don't really recognize it because it's not like, well, for our generation, like we're not paying attention to it. Like higher generations, like millennials probably don't see that, but like boomers definitely do. They definitely like have a strong say on it, but I don't think it's significant to us at all.
Did you know we had freedom of press? Like that was a specific type of freedom?
I probably kind of heard of it. Like Moody's probably talked about it before and I wasn't really paying attention, but like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I guess I was aware.
I don't believe so, unless they actually study the amendments, which once after high school, I know a lot of people that don't study the amendments. So if they do study and they are history people, then yes, they would know their entire amendments and exactly what the liberties that are provided by them.
Why?
Because they don't know the other two that I didn't know. Most people just think of freedom of speech and freedom of religion and freedom of the press. I never thought about the freedom to assemble or the other one.
I don't recognize it. A lot of those people who pays attention in history class, who actually pays attention to know what's going on in history class, okay? There's no reason. None of us study for that, all right? Half of us fail that, all right? Go up to any other kid in Kingsway and ask them the same question. They're not going to know the first fifth unless you go up to like a teacher. This is the law, all right? That's just how it is.
Why? Examples?
People take it for granted.
Yeah, because we're used to